Hi, Laurie. Welcome to your spotlight.
Hi, Summer. Thanks for having me.
Uh,
I'm really excited to be doing this and happy to support the
uh,
program with you.
I'm so happy to have you here. It's so lovely. You have such a beautiful room behind you, too, by the way.
Oh,
It's
thank
so
you.
cozy and beautiful.
Yeah, and it's getting cold here now. Feels
Yeah,
like autumn's coming. Never
yeah, I
mind.
know. I know. So, tell everybody a little bit about who you are, where you live.
Yeah, I'm Laurie. I live in Norwich in England and I am a Qigong instructor, which is, you've probably heard of Tai Chi. So if you haven't heard of Qigong, just think Tai Chi, but without the martial element, just well-being.
Nice. I love it. And you're a mom, too.
Yeah, I've got a 5-year-old son, and I also have a stepdaughter and stepson from my husband, and they live with us sometimes. It's always so great when they're here. Um, Life is good.
Nice, good. So, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about how you were feeling in your body or about your body before we started working together?
Yeah, so for me, it was really, I think I realized it was a bit deeper. There's a deeper issue than my body before we started working together. But I really wanted as well for my body to not be a problem for me, to not feel ashamed of my body and always wanting to cover up. I just wanted to not care.
Hmm.
It, but I'd really learned from a very young age that appearance really did matter. Or that's what I thought. That's what I learned as a child, and it kind of shaped my life for 30 years, where I just was completely convinced that if I just looked right, I would be confident and everything else would just follow. And so really I kind of discovered in those 30 years that that wasn't the case because I did manage. I thought I could control my weight. Can't really control what you look like, but yes, you can control your weight. So I really focused on that with dieting, and I just tried everything. And where it led me was just this horrible place of starving, binging, and compensating.
Hmm.
And I was really quite ill with it, and nobody knew because I didn't look like I was ill or that I wasn't eating enough. But actually, I really, looking back, it was just ridiculous how much I was taken in, probably less than a child, and really pushing myself with exercise as well. And this really does affect your health and your mental well-being as well. So, you know, that I realize now, and I realized some time ago, dieting, restricting just isn't, changing your appearance is not the answer. So I was looking for something else, and I came across body positivity and you and quite a few other coaches, and I just really got something from you that I really felt I needed that was going to help me to break away from the idea that I needed to change this because it was still in there. And I stopped dieting like 5 years ago and restricting. And I thought, yeah, this is great. I'm doing mindful eating. It's fantastic. But every time something came up where I had to put myself on the line, I would just have this urge to either restrict or binge. And I thought, I don't understand what's going on here. I don't understand what's wrong with me. That I feel this, I still feel driven that this could be a solution when I know it's not. So I needed to do something else. I needed to find something else to help me get through it.
Yeah.
So
And how did you want to feel? Like before we started, what did you feel was missing, or like how did you want to feel?
yeah, I wanted to feel like I was enough.
Hmm.
I wanted I wanted to feel like, so I had my son and I looked at him And I just thought, this is a miracle. I love him so much. I don't care what he looks like. I don't actually really care much what he achieves in his life. I just love him. And then I just had this idea that if I wanted him to do that, I should be able to do that for myself. I
Yes.
should be able to role model that to him. But also, I felt really deeply, but actually, everyone deserves to feel that way about themselves. Somehow, I've ended up in this place where I don't value my values. Actually, I don't even know what my values are because I've spent all my life too scared to have an opinion, too scared to put myself out there on the line where I might be judged or rejected. I don't really know who I am. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense to me because I think that's exactly what I see in people.
Yeah,
I don't know if everyone identifies with it from that start,
yeah, yeah,
but that's exactly it. Is that our identity gets really tied up in our body or a quest to lose weight and or food or fitness or whatever it is, and yeah, we lose not for everybody, but for a lot of people, we lose touch or we don't even know who we are, what really fulfills us. So
yeah.
I get it. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And I remember you saying that about your son. Like I remember that in one of the calls, I think, where
Yes.
you used that. You were just like, I look at my son and I just think I love him regardless. And
Yeah.
I think we all deserve that. And I remember I get goosebumps because it was such a beautiful statement. It's such a good way of, it's exactly
Oh,
right. Yeah. Yeah.
thank you. But it was, and it was just, I just didn't know how to do it. So
Mm-hmm.
I knew what I wanted, and I knew that it was the answer, but I didn't know how to get there. And I really believe that, this was 5 years ago, and I was just on this journey of wanting to heal and wanting to give myself permission and to understand that my worthiness wasn't actually conditional on anything, not what I look like or my achievements or anything, and neither was my son. And it got me to you, and I'm so grateful for that because I've got what I wanted. Or I'm certainly on the way. I mean, sure, I also thought, wouldn't it be great if I just didn't feel ashamed of my naked body?
Mm-hmm.
That would be great too. I didn't think that was likely, but I thought that would be great. That would be amazing. I couldn't see it as a possibility, but I didn't see that as the thing that I needed the most, if you know what I mean. I thought I can be neutral about my body. It doesn't, but it's this other thing, this idea of worthiness,
Yeah.
how to get it.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So, what were some of the things that helped you along the way?
The program is amazing, and the way that you've set it up, I just think it almost everyone I know could benefit from doing it. You get this amazing sense of support, and you feel safe to open up and be really vulnerable. In this amazing community of other women who have their own stories but are going through the same thing, so they really understand you. They really, really get it. And not many people in my life, even if I look at them and I think I know what you're going through, and you could really do with this, but they don't seem to realize it themselves. So it's hard to have meaningful conversations with people. But in the group, the community that you created, the support, the acceptance, the advice is amazing. But then from the program itself, the weekly missions that we had to do, and the way that you in the coaching calls kind of challenge, but in a soft way. But you make us go where we need to go.
Mm-hmm.
So having that setup where you've got a mission to work through, and then you can feed that into the coaching call, and obviously you pick up on what it is that the difficult question that you have to ask yourself.
Yes.
You have to put yourself there, and when you do, and when you say it out loud, and you hear yourself saying it out loud, you just think, oh wow, that I remember a specific coaching call where I was having a really bad night, and it was the school holidays and my husband was away, and I was trying to do, because I'm self-employed, and I was like putting so much pressure on myself to be the perfect mum, but to get the work done. And I was going to have these days of fun and meaningful stuff with my son. And then in the night, I was going to crack on with work. And it just didn't have it happen. I didn't have that in me in the evenings. And on this one evening, where luckily it was the coaching call, and I was just there thinking, I was feeling like I wanted to stuff my face. Is that okay to say that?
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah.
But I knew that's not going to fix it. But I just had this agitation and this horrible feeling that was so familiar to me. And it just so happened it was the coaching call. And you said to me, don't be a bad boss. And you'd said that you'd had to say that to yourself. And I just realized I was being so hard on myself. And I hadn't realized that I was making unreasonable demands on myself. But in the coaching call, it became so obvious to me that was what was happening. And that just opened up that way of looking at the whole of my life, making unreasonable demands on myself in the whole of my life. So, yeah, and the visualizations, I loved doing those. I wanted to say the visualizations are so moving and really take you to they can take you to a beautiful place where you start to build real self-compassion.
Nice.
Which is so essential for growth. It really is. So I loved those.
So go ahead.
There's so much. The doppelganger, realizing that voice, where that voice was coming from, was actually a place where we wanted to protect ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
It started to make so much sense looking back over my history and all the things that had hurt me so deeply and shaped how I was to live my life for the next 35 years. So, yeah. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. That's so amazing to hear. I remember the conversation about the bad boss because your doppelganger is your inner critic, and I noticed it. I was like, who's you? You have a real terrible boss. And I know that opened up a lot that created the big change for you, because I remember the next week, and that was just one of those moments that it was like one sentence and you just totally shifted and you were like, oh yeah.
And I didn't realize I was doing it.
Yeah.
I realized I was still doing it. So
yeah.
Having the support, having someone on the outside looking in who's actually prepared to say it, that's really valuable. There's so much connecting with your values and understanding that, okay, if your values aren't the values which are going to be validated by our society that we live in, that's really tough.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean that they're not valuable. That doesn't mean that you have to abandon them. Because if you abandon them and try to fit in and meet some ideal that doesn't resonate with you, then you're just empty.
Yeah.
From where so many problems stem, that emptiness. So
beautifully said.
I learned a lot.
Beautifully said. So do you remember anything that you did that was like a highlight moment for you?
Yeah, that coaching call was probably the real punch you in the face. But I do also want to mention about some things which I've done which are actually all about appearance. And it's from the perspective of having confidence in just showing up without the mask, without the makeup, without covering up. Because for me, it was really important to actually do that, to go on the school run without makeup on and just look people in the eyes like, this is me and it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of thing. That actually turned out to be quite confidence building for me. So yeah, and going on the beach. I mean, I was really ashamed of how I felt that my husband's ex-wife is a very fit, very attractive, very sporty, and I was really worried about going on the beach in my swimsuit with my stepchildren because of the judgment, because of the comparison, and I just had to. You said to me, you don't get confident by thinking I want to be confident. You get confident by doing the thing
Mm-hmm.
that is the thing you don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kept thinking that. And now it's just not a problem to me because it's that whole thing of if people were judging you, it says so much more about them
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not judging anyone on what they look like. And I think that's the right way to be.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, I can't, it doesn't follow that I allow the fear of people judging me on what I look like to affect me because it actually isn't important to me. It's just something that I learned a long time ago was important. And it turns out that it's not important. So,
So good. So good. And how did that feel?
really uncomfortable at first. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Um, really uncomfortable and very challenging. Um, but the world didn't stop.
Yeah.
Everything still carried on the same. People didn't go,
Yeah.
nothing bad happened. Of course it didn't. And then it just felt great. Then it just felt like I was opening up and being real as well, not hiding anything because there's nothing to hide. So I felt liberated from years of you know feeling inadequate.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing. And so how does it feel for you now?
it feels like I'm unstoppable and on a journey where there are limitless possibilities of what I am going to do in my life, and nothing is going to hold me back.
Wow.
Nothing is going to hold me back anymore. So, and I really do have you to thank for that. I just found you at the right time. I wish I found you years ago, but maybe that wasn't the right time for me. So now is the time, and that is how I feel. I'm going to do it, whatever it is.
That's so amazing.
Like 100% me. I'm going to have my opinion, and that thing about somebody hates you, like it's okay. It's okay if somebody doesn't agree with me, if somebody doesn't like what I have to say, if somebody doesn't like me. That's okay. I like me. I'm okay with me, and I'm not out to hurt anyone or offend anyone. I just want to give myself permission to speak my truth.
Hmm.
So that's it. Great.
Beautiful. Amazing. Amazing. What's your advice for people who are listening?
Do the program. You will get so much more out of it than you could ever dream of. At the very least, you're going to get out of it feeling good in your body. But I strongly suspect that you're going to get way, way more out of it than that, and it's going to change your life, and you're never going to look back.
That's so great to hear. That's so good to hear. Well, you, I mean, you're wonderful. You showed up. You really put yourself into it, and I know I pushed you outside of your comfort zone, or you pushed yourself outside of your comfort zone with my guidance quite a few times, and I think that that just spoke to the courage that you had and the determination that you had to really see this through and do this for yourself. And I think that you're going to be such an amazing role model to your stepkids and your son and also your clients, because I know that you being an instructor or coach in a different capacity, but still just being able to share that message of of worthiness, and you are enough in your work. And I think that you're going to help to change the culture too. So it's just so amazing to see how far you've come and to see how great you've been. I know in the last couple of coaching calls, like you hopped on and you were just like, I'm great. I just wanted to say I'm great. And that was it. And it was like, perfect. That's like, that's what I want to hear.
Yeah, and I do. I talk about you all the time to everyone who I meet, and about body positivity. And I started a little body positivity Facebook group in Norwich because I'm trying to connect with people who are in that
Nice.
place where they want to move beyond the number on the scales, and just inspire them. Just inspire them that actually there is a different way to live your life, and it can be so good. And I spoke a lot about the body things I did, but also since then I've gone and spoken in front of people about qigong, and this is something that terrified me, and it feels really, really good to step up and talk about the thing that you love and you place value in and brings a lot of joy into your life, and just have the courage to do it. And that is something I've done since this program too. So it's not just about going on the beach in my bikini and all of that. It's about stuff I've actually done,
Yeah.
which is being true to me. So
Amazing. Oh, that's so good to hear. I'm so proud of you. You've just been such a gift to me, and I thank you so much for being here today, and for sharing your story, and for taking a chance with me, and and doing this for yourself. I just think it's so great to catch up with you.
well, you are a great coach,
Thank
and you
you.
give you give so much. You give so much. I can't thank you enough.
Thank you. Thank you. That means the world to me, Laurie. Thank you. Well, it's been such a pleasure.
Oh, it's great to talk to you. Take care. And
Rock
I'll
on.
still be, you're not getting rid of me. I'm staying. I'm
I
staying.
know. I know. That's great. I know. The community just grows. That's amazing. Rock on.